Well, the Springfield Salvation Army, meanwhile, could be suing the city of Springfield tonight. Springfield City Council denied a petition that would allow the Salvation Army to build a shelter across from the Oak Ridge Cemetery. Neighbors in the area filed a protest petition earlier this month. An attorney for the group says the Salvation Army does great work, but there's a better location for them. Representatives for the Salvation Army disagree, saying they've run out of room at the current location and are unable to afford land. An attorney for the Salvation Army says the council is singling them out for what they do and is treating them differently because of that. Salvation Army has 100 days to file a lawsuit against the city.
It's a cold night across central Illinois, especially with the wind dropping the wind chill down into the teens, and the clouds have held on through the evening hours. The Prairie Heart Cam shows no precipitation in sight, either rain or snow, but the clouds are lingering, and we'll expect them to do so through the overnight hours. Mostly cloudy skies, but slight clearing toward morning. We'll be down into the low 20s overnight tonight, and with partly sunny skies at 8 a.m. back to around 25 degrees. The complete forecast is up in just about 10 minutes.
Area businesses lose more than 10 grand to a counterfeit check scam. The Macon County Sheriff's Office arrested 3 people for allegedly running that operation. News Center 17's Tara Barrett shows you how detectives say the scam works.
Macon County detectives say at least 7 businesses fell victim to the check scam, and anywhere from 4 to 5 banks in the area also lost money. The Macon County Sheriff's Office first arrested Tita Morgan in connection with the counterfeit operation, and then Monday detectives arrested Brian Jordan and Heidi Mills at the Super 8 Motel in Decatur. Detective Jason Brown says equipment and supplies to make fake checks were found in the group's motel room. The driver's license and social security cards of some victims were also recovered. The 3 suspects were allegedly buying blank checks at office supply stores and printing their own checks with stolen identities.
We believe that they had been moving around from the local hotels in Decatur, and they wouldn't stay there but maybe a day or 2 before they'd move on to the next hotel and get a different room and continue their operation from the rooms.
All 3 suspects are being held in the Macon County Jail and face forgery charges. Detectives say they'll go to court in about a month. The Macon County Sheriff's Office will meet with the Secret Service later this week to discuss this counterfeit check scam. All 3 suspects could face additional federal charges because of the new identity theft law.
All right, thanks, Tara Barrett. Meanwhile, the Army Corps of Engineers in Shelbyville hosts a public meeting about its flood control efforts. The Corps controls the water released from the Shelbyville Dam that for years has been a concern of lake users and marina operators. The Corps is revising, its water control manual for Lake Shelbyville, and tonight was a chance for public input. A draft plan of the changes will be available for public review and comments in March, with follow-up meetings in the spring.
The search is on for a new District 61 superintendent. Tonight, the school board held a work-study session. It's decided to look into hiring an outside firm to help with that search. At next Tuesday's meeting, the board hopes to have 3 different companies present, present its services, and could vote on which firm to go with. According to District 61's community engagement specialist, Dawn Torsha, the board wants to act quickly and is looking for a record of academic achievement and the ability to build and maintain community commitments. Call it a banner year for Decatur's economy in 2005. Decatur showed job growth every month of the year, ending the year with a jobless rate not seen in almost 5 years at just more than 5%. Economic Development Corporation Director Craig Coyle gave an overview to the council tonight of what he calls a great trend for the city. He says the big job gains have been at Caterpillar, ADM, Tate & Lyle, and Norfolk Southern Railroad. However, he says the challenge is now to help employers find qualified workers locally. And the city council talked about plans for a sediment storage pond or second lake. The plan has met resistance on a possible location, with the latest just north of the Elwyn Blacktop. County Board Chairman David Wolf offered the council a proposal to establish a Greater Decatur Water Commission for all sides to input on the issue. The chairman's proposal would be on the agenda of this council's next study session in February. The board has tabled an ordinance that would declare any additional lake projects a public nuisance. The council members say they appreciate the gesture from the county board chairman.
Well, the Taylorville City Council also met this evening, and the mayor there has an important invitation tomorrow. Mayor Frank Mathon is being personally invited by the governor's office to attend Blagojevich's State of the State address tomorrow in Springfield. Mayor Mathon isn't sure what may be said in the address that will affect his city, but is excited it will be good news. Taylorville is already the site of 2 proposed coal mines, a power plant, and expansion of Route 29.
Tonight in Lincoln, more steps are taken to prepare for the arrival of the new Robert Sysco's food distribution site. Tonight's meeting the council approved additional costs associated with replacing soil unsuitable for the site. However, funds to cover an additional sewer line elevation were tabled, and they turned down the rental of a trailer for Green and Bradford for the project. Also at tonight's meeting, Alderman Melody Anderson is the new First Ward Alderman. She replaces Patrick Madigan, and there's a new fire chief in Lincoln. Jim Davis Jr. replaces Bucky Roberts-Washam.
Well, he saved lives with his hands. Now our community remembers the life and legacy of Dr. Ronald Ming. Dr. Ming died Sunday at the age of 55 after a short battle with gastric cancer. He leaves behind his wife and 2 children. Dr. Ming arrived in Decatur in 2002, immediately led the way at Decatur Memorial Hospital's Heart and Lung Institute. In addition to being a well-thought-of doctor, Ronald Ming had many talents.
He was a real Renaissance man. He was skilled in a lot of things, in landscape work, in photography, in cooking. He was the kind of person that actually, when you got around him very much and you got to know all the things that he was good at, it got to be a little intimidating. You know, you thought, I need to be more like this guy is.
Visitation set for Sunday from 1 to 4 at Moran and Goebel Funeral Home. If you would like to donate to cancer research in Dr. Ming's memory, you can send donations to the Dr. Ronald L. Ming Rose Fund, 4600 East West Highway, Suite 525, Bethesda, Maryland, 20814-6900. Or you can also log on to our website at WANDTV.com. Medicare prescription drug coverage has been anything but smooth for many seniors. Now a congressman from Central Illinois offers some encouraging news that may help. We'll fill you in.
And the big issues the governor will address in his State of the State tomorrow. See what it means for Central Illinois when News Center 17 at 10 returns.
You're watching WAND TV with Dawn Sterling, Sean Streety, Chief Meteorologist Lee Davis, and Sports with Steve Breitweiser. News Center 17 at 10 o'clock continue.
Well, many low-income seniors are still having problems with Medicare Part D tonight.
But a congressman stopped in Central Illinois today with some hopeful information. There's a contingency fund in federal legislation that's supposed to provide for seniors having problems with Part D. It hasn't kicked in yet, though, according to John Shimkus.
21 million people are on a new program that started in January. It takes time. Just adding the people on the list. Some other companies didn't do as good a job as we would have liked them to. So we're doing a lot of attempting to follow up.
In the meantime, the state has a plan in place. Pharmacists must go through several steps with Part D companies, and if that doesn't work, they may ask the state to pay for patients' drugs.
Well, Governor Blagojevich will lay out his vision for the next year in his State of the State address. The governor's speech expected to include calls for new roads and schools, a ban on assault weapons, and a tax break for fuel-efficient vehicles. The Republicans' response is expected to be the state is still digging out of a budget deficit, but Blagojevich aides say the speech will build on a strong record of accomplishments.
He took over a state government that was basically bankrupt economically. We were looking at huge deficits. We couldn't pay our bills, and he was able to whittle down that amount of money that we owe.
The governor will deliver a speech tomorrow in the House of Representatives. It's scheduled to begin at noon.
If you use wireless networks in public places, we have a warning for you tonight. Attorney General Lisa Madigan is warning about a security threat to wireless hotspot users. When people use wireless networks, attackers can mimic the characteristics of the legitimate wireless network. This creates an evil twin and allows for you to unknowingly connect to the twin and compromise your information. Madigan says if you use wireless networks, disable your laptop's wireless card unless you are using it. And don't ever configure your computer to auto-connect to a wireless network. And most importantly, don't send sensitive information when using your network. Also in consumer news, Congressman John Shimkus is asking the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission to investigate reports of companies selling personal cell phone records. Now, in his letter, Shimkus asked the FCC to use the power it has to stop this, or he will introduce legislation that would make this practice illegal. He adds there is no legitimate reason for anyone's cell phone records to be obtained except in a legal investigation.
Well, it took some extra time, but an area Salvation Army finally reached its fundraising goal for the year. The Danville Salvation Army surpassed its goal of $100,000 by $615. Major Teresa Turner says, quote, "We were uncertain and concerned about making this year's goal. However, reaching that goal was critical to meet the growing needs of the local community there." And she thanks residents of Vermilion County for helping reach that vital goal. The Bush administration announces new initiatives to improve U.S. border security.
Those initiatives are aimed at using the information age to secure borders while remaining welcoming to foreigners. Leanne Gregg explains in tonight's News Extra.
With increasing numbers of foreigners crossing U.S. borders each day, the federal government is taking new steps to balance the fight against terrorism with how to remain a welcoming nation.
Where in Mexico are you coming from?
For those who enter the U.S. frequently from Mexico and Canada, a new security card similar to a driver's license will replace a passport.
By the end of this year, our departments anticipate issuing a new, inexpensive secure travel card for land border crossings.
The move is expected to ease long lines and congestion at border crossings. By 2007, a new e-passport will include biometric information embedded in a chip.
Through this kind of electronic passport, we can verify a traveler's identity, protect against identity theft, and make it very difficult for forgers or imposters.
The initiatives also include upgrading technology for faster visa processing. The travel industry applauded the new moves.
We're moving forward to combine making people welcome to the U.S. and having great security.
Officials hope the new program will reduce wait times at ports of entry and focus more resources on the minority of people who may pose a threat to security. Leanne Gregg, NBC News.
Pilot programs will begin later this year at Houston and Dulles airports. They'll use customized video messages to help foreigners through the entry process. Well, laptop computers could be on the way to your teen's classroom. Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn is proposing the iConnect initiative. It would provide a personal laptop computer for all 169,000 7th grade students in Illinois public schools. Now, eventually the program would span out to include 6th through 12th grades. Virginia students in a similar program saw the highest SAT verbal and math scores in the country.
Basically, to pay for it costs about $50 million a year. Talking about 170,000 7th graders in Illinois, our future, and we are custodians of the future.
School districts would decide how the laptop computers would be used in the classroom. Teachers would also get a professional training on how to integrate the computers into their everyday curriculum.
Well, that wind making it awfully frigid tonight.
The wind chill will be a real concern overnight tonight. Temperatures dropping into the low 20s with mostly cloudy skies. Maybe still a lingering flurry and clearing toward morning. So tomorrow will be partly sunny, mid-20s at 8 a.m., mid-30s by noon. We'll get to around 40 degrees for the high tomorrow afternoon. All
right, Lee. Thanks for joining us tonight on News Center 17 at 10. Have a good night.
Good night.
You're watching NBC, America's late night leader.